Hello, and you're listening to the Unworthy Exchange. My name is Alex.
My name is Nico.
And today we're talking about jobs, career. Two jobless guys are going to sit here and talk to you about
Yes.
what job, means on a Thursday afternoon, Thursday morning.
Not Job. Job.
Not job. Yeah. So we are
Let me tell you something about work.
we're talking about work, job, career as it relates to the Christian walk, the true Christian walk. And I'm not just saying I'm trying not to be like Calvinist, elitist,
Yeah.
there's cultural Christian, and then there is like sold out. I'm actually living for Jesus and
Yes.
making sacrifices and allowing him to change my life. We're talking about that aspect when it comes to work, when it comes to job, all of that. And so you want to kick us off with that?
Surely, yes. The difference between cultural Christian and just living in submission, I'll touch on that a little bit more because I had a thought pop up. There is a difference between our American culture, which I would maybe say is more in line with the modern day American dream of, hey, I go to church on Sundays, I have the job, I have the cars and the house, and life's great. I'm an engineer, etc. But I do believe the genuine walk of faith comes into friction with that. If you're fully surrendered to the Lord, He's going to lead you in some ways that are maybe in opposition to our societal mold of using God as a cool philosophy, I guess, for life. And yeah, like the Christian philosophy, it's part of my life. But when God is central to your life, He will uproot everything that is not Him, and He will make sure He's priority. Not in a domineering way, but God's a jealous God, and He loves you, and He wants you to love Him. And so it's rooted in that. And so what we're talking about today is jobs. And I don't have much to teach to you. That's not why I'm here, but I have some testimonials, and we have kind of a similar background in that God made me lose my job when I really started following Him seriously. And,
Well, I got something to teach.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just
lay it down.
I guess we'll start. I'll share where I'm at if you want to share where you're at.
Before we get into that, I think going into definition is going to be important again, because when it comes to, like you say, the difference between Christian, non-Christian, walk, whatever, it just comes down to, are you calling yourself a Christian and walking in the ways of this world? Or are you calling yourself a Christian and living as a Christian is meant to be called? And what I mean by that is, when you dive into that, is who is in control of your life? Who is making the decisions? What is at the root of the fruit of your life?
That's good.
Are you trying to have the things of this world? Because, spoiler alert, something that the Lord had to tell me, and I didn't like, the American dream is not biblical.
No.
The American dream is actually a tactic of the enemy to keep us from living in full abundance in Jesus.
Well, because what's it rooted in? It's not rooted in surrender to God. It's rooted in work more, climb the corporate ladder.
It's rooted in
get
self.
the bigger job. I do
rooted
more
in
to receive
idolatry. It's rooted in just the pursuit of stuff.
Yeah.
And so, I just want to make that important distinction there. And
Thank you.
And I'm not trying to, if we jump to conclusions, it's like, oh, you guys are just bums sitting on a couch on a Thursday. I'm just not going to work, so that way Jesus blesses me. And it's like,
no, that's not. It was a God-led.
That's not it at all. You cannot choose that.
No.
In a sense of I'm going to make that happen, because again, that's me trying to drive the direction it's supposed to go.
This life chose me.
This life chose me. Pretty much Batman when you think about it.
Pretty much.
But the thing is, or Spider-Man, one of the two. The
He
thing
doesn't
is
talk like that, though.
that yeah, we'll talk like that from now on. When no, I can't do that. I can't do that.
People are like, what are we listening to?
I lost my train of thought with that.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. The point is, I lost it. Keep going.
Okay.
With what you were saying.
Okay.
I'll remember it later.
It'll come back to you. Lord,
Yeah.
please bring it back. But, gosh, I lost it too. 7th episode, man.
Oh my goodness, this is
okay.
peak.
Well, I was thinking,
downhill.
we were
This is
talking
where the show
about
falls apart.
talking about definition. That's where we were at. Sorry, I had a tickle. We want to define our terms. Living in a life surrendered to the Lord comes into conflict with the American dream, because the American dream is not biblical. And
Oh, I know what I was gonna say.
there you go.
There we go. Foolishness. Wisdom, worldly wisdom is foolishness to God, and honestly, vice versa. Godly wisdom is kind of foolishness to the world. What's wise in the way that God would have us live and work and operate is foolishness to our culture. I'm not even going to say the world, because different aspects of the world, different parts of the world get this.
They do.
Israel especially gets this. Our United States culture does not. They don't understand that, like, what do you mean you don't have a 9 to 5? You don't have a W-2 paycheck. You just live in trust to God? Well, that's foolish. That's dumb. It's like, on the surface, that's what it is. It would sound like, I'm just sitting here waiting for God to bless me. It's like, no, that's not what it is at all.
No.
That's what I meant to say, is like, on the surface, it's foolishness to the world. But then when you start to learn the way God's ways, you begin to see, oh my goodness, like,
This is
the
actually
ways of our
very cool
culture
thing.
are actually incredible foolishness.
Yeah.
And that's not to say, like, if you have a job, you're not a follower of Jesus. It's not that black and white. He uses you in so many different seasons and ways, and I think there's time and place for those things, and it depends on the calling and the promises he's put on you in your life. There's so much to that, and I'm not, like, we got to be careful not to just make a black and white statement.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that if you're in a 9 to 5 and that's where the Lord has you, that he's not working in your life, because people are definitely called for that. I think
Or that you're
called
not
to
sold
that.
out to him,
Right.
Yeah,
you could be totally sold out and you could be working a 9 to 5, and that if that's where God has you, that's amazing. Praise the Lord for that. I think what the Lord is getting at is a heart posture and a shift in that perspective of, this is not my security, and this is not what I look to for safety, provision. I look to God, Yahweh, as my safety and provision. That's ultimately what I think God is trying to instill in everybody who follows him. It just looks different. Some people get that and they can work a 9 to 5, and God has them there, and that's amazing.
And they're operating in their giftings. I think part of that is important, is to understand that each person is unique. Mm-hmm. Nobody can really argue that, unless you're a twin. Sorry, I'm kidding. But I'm joking.
What do they call it? A fraternal
twins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Each person is unique and has specific skills, talents, gifts, abilities, and each person is going to go through different seasons of their life. And so, of course, God is going to use that in different ways. If each of our lives looks the same, how boring and useless would that be for the kingdom?
Right.
The point is, when you surrender to him and allow him to use you for your gifts, that is going to look like or feel like foolishness a lot to this world in a lot of different ways. And so I do want to kind of zoom out about that, because if we're talking about work on this episode, it can't be as black and white as like, well, if you don't work, you follow God and you follow Jesus, and vice versa. Like, it's not that black and white at all. I think we just need to share about kind of where the Lord has brought us, because it is going to depend on our calling. I mean, we know many people. I know many people that are like on fire, sold out for the Lord, look up to them as like pillars and leaders of the faith, and just like strong, on fire. And it's just like they worked a 9 to 5 career their whole life.
Yeah.
Or still are working. And it's like, that's not a bad thing. That doesn't dictate that. Like, your circumstances don't dictate how much of a follower of Jesus you can be. It's just, he's going to put you in the environment that you need to be in for the season that he has you in, for your gifts and talents. And so, let's maybe unpack it a little bit. And, I'm somebody that's, I did the whole 9 to 5. I chased the career and all of that. And I've always had just a deep pull inside of me that it's not for me. And again, I say that, and it's like, that's foolishness to the world. What are you talking about? Oh, work. I've been thinking about it a lot about it, and this whole work thing just isn't for me. Right. It's just not. I'm not cut out for it. It's like, no, that's not what I'm saying.
Well, I want to add to the validity.
I would make fun of people like that.
Of that, it's not. I don't think it's laziness in you, and I don't think it's all. I think sometimes it could be laziness to say, well, I just don't want to work, and the Bible has a lot to say about that. That's not what we're getting at. It's something a little bit deeper, or a lot bit deeper than that, that just says, this isn't where I'm supposed to be.
I think, to sum it up, I grew up with enough of a removal of the fluff and enough of a strong foundation that says, listen to God's voice, understand his will for you, and develop those things. and have such a strong grasp. I've always had just a strong grasp on like, I know what he wants me to do. I know the way he wants me to operate. Maybe I don't know what that means day to day, but I just know the modality of how he wants me to operate as far as like being a business owner, being free with my time, being generous with all those things. That growing up with that strong foundation, thanks mom and dad, of knowing that and then going into the world of going into high school, going to college, and then trying to be force fed a counterfeit version of that. Like, no, you want to get a job. You want to get a 9 to 5. You want to buy. I'm like, this is stupid. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want this. This is not what I'm called to do with my life. And I guess that's kind of where I'm at because we've had similar upbringings. I don't know if you can resonate with that too, but
Yeah, I mean, we were both homeschooled, so that
I think that's a
alone,
big component of it.
it
Yep.
it kind of gives you this freedom of time. Again, you're not forsaking the value of education. You're not forsaking the value of values or upbringing, but you're eliminating the fluff as or we didn't have any fluff when we were homeschooled. It's like you did your work and when you're done, you're done. Congratulations, you're done by noon and you have the rest of your day to do whatever. But especially in high school, because I was homeschooled all the way through, and so you had a little bit of a different perspective because you were not. But in high school, it
Can you tell?
operated it operated for me a little bit more like a college environment where, hey, I have these assignments I have to get done by the end of the week, and so it taught me to budget my time well. And if I wanted to do X, Y, or Z, like I had a job in high school, or I was doing YouTube in high school. And so I knew I had these goals, but I had to manage my time well to steward it well, like we talked about last week for you guys, but 30 minutes ago for us.
Yeah.
Um,
Like callback. Throwback.
Throwback. Check out episode 6 if you want to learn about stewardship.
I don't even know what episode it is.
I think we're on 7.
Okay.
I'm trying to keep a mental note.
Okay.
Shoot, what was I saying? Oh, I had to steward my time well to make time for these other things that I was purposing my day to. And that was really the training ground that developed this stewardship of time that God has given, I think, both of us. And it doesn't really work in the modern societal 9 to 5 because you go to work every day, you clock in, and you're there until 5 p.m. hits. And even if you run out of things to do, you're still there because you get paid hourly and you just have to be a body.
Can I try to summarize what you're saying?
Yes.
When you know what true freedom and true responsibility feels like, you can't settle for a counterfeit.
Right.
That's really what it is. Because like you're saying, when you are responsible to manage your time and to steward your time and you're given trust and you're given all these things, it's like homeschooling it was that when it's like, I know what I have to do. I have to be responsible to get it done and I can enjoy the fruit of the reward of like, hey, I get my stuff done and now I have free time to build and now I have free and extra time.
Yeah.
And then we just was like ingrained in us to like, that's how you go through life. You manage your time, you manage your responsibilities, you get it done, you do good work, and you can enjoy the fruit of that afterwards. And then going into the world, going into high school and college, they're like, yeah, we're just gonna like put these little handcuffs on you, but it's great. They're rose colored, you know. We're gonna get you into a nice career. We're gonna get you a lot of money. I'm like, I was never motivated by money.
Then you come home and watch TV.
And then like, yeah, you can get all the things, you can get all the stuff, and you can do all. I'm just like, no, like, and so I'm like, all right, I'll bite. You know, I got into that for a bit, doing the 9 to 5. I can buy the house, I can buy the car, I can get the debt, all this stuff. I'm like, I hated it so much when it comes to like,
It's soulless.
I felt soulless and I felt trapped in a prison. But most people don't even recognize, they don't even know what freedom feels like. They just accept that this is what it is. I have to just put my head down and I just work. I have to earn the money. At least I earn the money. Yeah. It's like I was never motivated by money. And I don't know why. I always thought there was something wrong with me about that. I'm just like, I'm not motivated to earn the money. I'm not motivated for that. Either. Like I value my time and energy and ability to have freedom to use time, energy, and talents as directed more than a dollar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, that's completely. So I'm in a season of unemployment, and a while ago I was applying to a lot of jobs and interviewing, and that was, I think, one of the things that told the employer no for me was they were asking me about overtime. Like, I think they said something. I don't remember what the schedule was, but it was a weird schedule, anyways. And I'm more from a lens of I value time more than money. And so I value time with my wife more than making a couple extra dollars. If that schedule doesn't line up where we can't see each other, sorry, I'm out, because my marriage is more important than making a couple extra bucks. So they were asking me about overtime. Like, how do you feel about that? And I was like, I am not really motivated by money. I think I said something to the effect of, like, I am good with just my 40 hours, what I need, and then that's it. Like, I don't feel a huge motivation to make more than I need. And I could just see their face like, oh, this is not going to work.
Because they can't control you then.
No.
And I'm not trying to say that as like some conspiracy, like you're trying to be controlled, but that's literally what it is.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, sitting
doesn't
there,
work.
would you go to work if they didn't give you money? No. And so that's the reason you go to work, obviously. And it's like, that's the reason we have to work, right? That's the reason why we do anything. It's not like we sit around like, I have a business. I have multiple businesses that I run. And so it's like, I do them because I have to earn money. But there's also a sense of virtue where I've run those businesses for a long time without earning money.
Yeah.
And so it's like that's a different mindset where you have to view in terms of, again, going back to the stewardship episode, you have to view in terms of stewardship, investment, not just hand to mouth manna all the time. And so, right, in your case, it's like when they see that you're not motivated by money, there's no hook, line, and sinker. I can't just feed you more money and keep you eating from the palm of my hand. Then to them, that's like, I can't trust you to get work done. It's like, okay, that's fine. Go find somebody else. But that's hard when you're I don't want to say free thinker, but genuinely free thinking is kind of a rare thing in this world. When it comes to alignment with Jesus and the way he calls you to live. And so I think that kind of lays the foundation, that sets the foundation for the basis of like where I was at all those years and where you were at. It just felt like trading my vibrant sense of like what's possible in this world and this life to just succumbing to gray cubicle death, going to a job. It didn't matter what it was. It's just like, this is not, you just know when you're doing something that is not in alignment with what God has planned for you. And that's at least for me, and I'd say probably for you too, where some people thrive in that and they love it and they're fine with it and all those things. It's like, if that's what God has for you and that's what he's shown you and that's where he has you, then great. But there's that friction. It's like the more I chased the career, the more I got into the job, the more unrest I felt in my soul and the more disconnect I felt from the Lord. Yeah. And the point is, most people don't even know what that connection feels like. They just do it because you're supposed to. And so when you have that strong sense of knowing what that is, it's like, I know what it feels like to be plugged into God and starting to go down this path. It's like, I am definitely unplugged from him. So what happened? Aren't I supposed to do this, God? And he's like, is that what you want? What I'd have you do?
That's a good point. I was gonna say, look at the fruits, and because sometimes it's not so black and white. Sometimes you don't have that inclination, or if you're not quite familiarized enough with God's voice when he's saying no to something, you could continue walking down that path. But it's a muscle memory that develops over time. The more you hear God's voice and the more you respond to it, the more you're going to become familiar, and your faith is going to be built up so that you go, oh, I know this. This is familiar. This is God telling me not to do this. But looking at the fruits, I'll share a little bit about where I was at. I was working my quote unquote dream job for a while. So I thought, like, I had this one thing I set out to do.
Been there.
I moved here and God gave it to me. I was like, wow, like, praise the Lord. The rest of my life is set up. I have this amazing apprenticeship doing the thing that I wanted to do. This is awesome. It was not awesome. It was pretty horrible. Like, the work was interesting, but everything else was like meaningless. Ecclesiastes 3. And when I say look at the fruits of my life, my relationship with the Lord were severely tested because I was in an environment where I was the only professing believer, and I was also working blue collar. I was working as an aircraft mechanic apprentice, just to give context for that. The whole hangar I worked in was not only like just atheistic, but like ridiculing me for being a believer because I try to be open about it and live boldly. And you think, oh, this is great. I'm going to witness to all these people.
Dude, Christians are the hateful ones, huh?
Dude, they will just tear you up, and it's hard sometimes. I even had coworkers who weren't following the Lord who noticed it, and it's like, man, they would get frustrated with it too. But it's like total enslavement, just where you have to go to work every day, or if you don't, you don't have food. And so you have to go to Egypt and the Egyptians are the ones kind of beating you down all the time. And so my relationship with the Lord suffered. And as much as I think that I was, there pursuing what God put in front of me, doing the good thing of, hey, I'm providing for my family or finding a way to provide down the road through getting a certification or whatnot, or witnessing to people, my relationship with the Lord, which comes first and should come first for everybody, was kind of a casualty of that, in that over time it was just like slowly dwindled down, where I was just getting so beat down. And before it got bad enough, God took me out of that environment. Again, it was like completely outside of my control, because I don't think I would have left knowing myself, because I'm not real big on change. But I'm grateful for the Lord, because he'll take me where he wants me to be. And eventually it was like I was presented with this contract that I just couldn't sign. It would have put me and my fiance at the time, now wife, in financial jeopardy. And we weren't living together because we don't do that before marriage, but we were about to get married, and I was like, no, I can't sign this in good conscience. And so I didn't, and I packed my tools and left. He didn't even want to negotiate. So since then, it's been kind of a rocky season where God's just providing manna for the day. No jobs have worked out. And so that's not for the lack of trying. I've probably applied between 50 to 60 places, and every time has just been a closed door. God's like, nope, nope, nope. The one thing that did come through, I've learned to discern the Lord's voice. And as I was sitting through orientation, I just felt everything inside of me like, this is not where I need to be. It felt very demonic, actually. And I was like, I rarely enter like a fight or flight mode, but I was genuinely like uncomfortable and just super anxious the whole time. I'm like, this is not from the Lord. He doesn't want me here. So I didn't show up for my first shift there, but yeah, all that to say, that's kind of how God's brought me through this season of what I would call my exodus, where Egypt for me was my last job as an aircraft mechanic. And I can see that clearly now, that it was not good for me. And there have been times where I want to go back to Egypt, like the Israelites are always talking about in Exodus. And God says, no, I'm bringing you somewhere else.
Because it's comfortable. Because
Right.
at least there, I don't have to worry. I don't
It's
have to
familiar.
trust God. I don't have to worry about the unknown. I just
You think,
put my head down, and I just go to work, and I just collect what I need, and I'm good.
right. That's exactly what the Israelites said is, yeah, they were persecuted by the Egyptians, but at least they had food, they had water. They literally said, oh, that the Lord would smite us when we were in Egypt because we had food and water there. And Moses is like, what do you want me to do with these people, God? So I'll turn it over to you.
Well, you mentioned Ecclesiastes, and this is in Ecclesiastes too, because this is kind of getting to the heart of work. And there's a difference between, I don't want to get caught up in like working a normal job of this world and being a business owner or an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a genuine, I mentioned this in the last episode, like the Middle Eastern, like Jewish teachings talking about how everybody's a business owner. It doesn't matter if you go to work for,
I love that.
it doesn't matter if you go to work for somebody as an apprentice or you go to work at Target or whatever. It's like you are in the business of representing yourself and representing the kingdom of God. And you are in the business of stewarding relationships and everything that you have. Mm-hmm. So when you flip your thinking and you're like, I don't just show up to a job because they give it to me. It's like, no, I am serving this person. I'm serving my employer by being here. I reserve the right to change who I'm serving at any point in time. I'm not a slave to them. So that's a thinking there. But kind of getting in deeper is like there's work for the kingdom and there's work for man. And so Solomon, the wisest man that ever lived, is writing this in Ecclesiastes. And I'll kind of just skim through this, but this is in Ecclesiastes 2:18. It says, I hated all my work that I labored at under the sun, because I must leave it to the one who comes after me. And who knows whether he will be wise or a fool, yet he will take over all my work that I labored at skillfully under the sun. This too is futile. And so he's like, why am I slaving away? Why am I working so hard? This is hinting at legacy. When I'm done and when I die or whatever, it's like the next person that takes over my work is just gonna take it, and who knows what they're gonna do with it. They might screw it up, they might run it to the ground. What am I building that has any sort of meaning? And I remember feeling that when I worked in IT and different things. It's like, what am I doing? I'm just running in circles. I'm creating meaningless work that maybe it's creating something, it's creating an infrastructure, but the next person that touches it is just going to tear it down or redo it, or it's just, it's worthless. And so he goes on a little bit further, says, there's nothing better for a person than to eat, drink, and enjoy his work. I have seen that this is from God's hand, because who can eat and who can enjoy life apart from him? For to the person who is pleasing in his sight, he gives wisdom, knowledge, and joy. But to the sinner, he gives the task of gathering and accumulating in order to give to the one who is pleasing in God's sight. This too is futile and a pursuit of the wind. I've seen this firsthand. He allows the people that aren't pleasing to him to just, you're the one that's going to gather and just grow, and you're going to give it to the person that is pleasing to me.
Right.
I've seen it many times over in firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
And so then he goes on talking about the occasion, the mystery of time, how there's a time for everything under the sun, a time to be born, time to die, and all that. And at the end of that, the tides of time, he talks about what does the worker gain from his struggles? I have seen the task that God has given to the children of Adam to keep them occupied. He has made everything appropriate in its time, or everything beautiful in its time. He has also put eternity in their hearts so that no one can discover the work God has done from the beginning to end. I know that there is nothing better for them than to rejoice and to enjoy the good life. Enjoy the things that God has given you, right? It's also the gift of God whenever anyone eats, drinks, and enjoys all his efforts. I know that everything God does will last forever. There is no adding to it or taking from it. God works so that people will be in awe of him. Whatever is has already been, and whatever will be already is. However, God seeks justice for the persecuted. And so the point is, getting into all of that, there's this distinction that's made between, okay, the futility of the work of this earth and the work that God does that lasts forever. And when it's talking about he's seeking justice for the persecuted, he's in the business of redeeming people, redeeming souls. Mm-hmm. And so like I remember thinking through and reading that, it's like, okay, God, how do I don't want to participate in meaningless work. I don't want to just participate in futility and heaping up of things to give it to somebody else so that when I die, nothing. It's like, how do I participate in what you're doing? How do I do work that lasts with you? How do I lay up my treasures in heaven? And it's kind of this duality, because when we're in this world, we have to do work. We have to provide value. Yeah. We can't just sit around and go, oh man, if I could just get paid to talk to people all day. It's like, unfortunately, some people get too comfortable being paid to preach about Jesus, which is a good thing. But we also need to be understanding and willing that, like, hey, sometimes you got to work at a factory your whole life, because that's just what it is. And so that's all that you do to the glory of God. Trust where he has you, be a light in the place that he has you, but also understand when there's a deeper calling. Like, so for you, it's like, it's not, we tend to inaccurately label things as like morally right and wrong. Is it right for me to go be an aircraft mechanic? It's like, God doesn't care in the sense of like, it's not like it screws up his plan or it screws up the kingdom of heaven because you do that. It's just more like, maybe I didn't give you the design for that. Maybe you desire that, and like we can desire things, but he could be like, nah, I don't want you to have that because it would not be good for you. Mm-hmm. Somebody else in that instance that's a follower, it's like, this could be the right avenue for you. But it's like, I've given you specific talents and passions, and I've given you specific things that are actually, I want you to do this with it. Mm-hmm. That if you would just trust me to redirect you, it would be much more life-bringing to you and to those around you. And if I just give you this, it would actually destroy you. And it would be worse for you.
That makes sense. I think that's what I realized in that gig.
I've walked through that. Yep.
Yeah.
And so that, at least for me, like, because you just shared your part of the story, like for me, I've done that. I've gone in and out of seasons of employment and had the dream jobs, and it's just like, you know what, this kind of stinks. It's like I'm feeding that never-ending hole. That's like, well, maybe I need a house, maybe I need a car, maybe I need this, maybe I need that. It's like, maybe I just need the job, maybe I just need more money. It's like, it's never enough. That you're chasing the wrong thing, if that's the point. There's never enough money. And so through the process of surrendering, it's like, okay, Lord, what? And so, yeah, he did the same thing for me. He moved me across the country, gave me the business, gave me all that, and has just allowed me to see that, like, now, what does that look like on a tangible level? Day to day, I wake up, I don't have anywhere I need to go, which is terrifying and freeing at the same time.
Yeah.
Isn't freedom terrifying to a slave? To somebody that only knows enslavement, when they walk outside or when the chains are off, they're just like, I don't know what to do with myself. This is scary. I'm going to mess it up. It's like driving a car. When you first got behind the wheel of a car, that's freedom. You'd been confined, and now it's like you can go anywhere. It's like, oh, this is big responsibility. I don't know if I like this. This is going to be hard to grow into.
Yeah.
And so, like, for me, I wake up and I'm like, okay, you know, everything I do that day or that week is a result of the things I've prepared beforehand the day before, in result of careful prayer and walking with the Lord. And so genuinely, yeah, every day is like, I cannot start my day unless I pray, unless I read my Bible, unless I ask Jesus, what are we doing today? This is what I have on my docket, my schedule. This is what I'd like to get done for the business that's working towards the goals for revenue, for growth, for all of that, that is responsible and wise. And sometimes he's like, yep, that's fine. Work at it. Work hard. You know, ask for blessing over it. Have fun. And sometimes it's like, no, I want you to go here and do this. No, I want you to like, okay, we're going to record a podcast today. I'm not working on my normal business stuff. That's different. It's scary, but that's true. Again, going back to the last episode, that's stewardship.
Right.
You know, stewarding your time and energy and talents and yielding to him and recognizing when he says, no, do something else. I have a different appointment for you today. And most of the time, most days it is like, yeah, just do what you planned. Do all that is within your heart, for the Lord is with you. I used to think, I actually just read that. That was the prophet Nathan talking to David about the building of the temple. David's like, I really want to build a house for God. I want to build a temple for you, God, because all these years you've just lived in a tent with us. It's like, you don't have a house. I have a nice house. Why don't you have a house? And God's like, did I ask for a house?
Right.
He's like, I had a tent, you know? And so it's like, it's not this morality of like, well, this is right or wrong. It's not like God told me to do it. Instead, Nathan, the prophet's like, do all that is within your heart, for the Lord is with you. And this has been a shift that I've had to see lately is instead of
What's that reference? Not to interrupt you.
It's in 2 Samuel.
Okay.
Somewhere in 2 Samuel.
It's teaching me something that I felt the Holy Spirit told me the other day, and it's like right
well,
in line with
he
that.
revealed this to me too, and so I'll share it with you here, and the listener on the podcast can hear it as well. But as Christians, we can fall into this trap that says, I have to wait on the Lord before I can move. I have to wait for a sign from heaven. I have to wait for the skywriter in the sky. I have to wait for something. I cannot move because I'm afraid I'm going to mess it up. I'm going to mess up God's plan. I have to wait for him to tell me, do this, and I have blessed it. Then I can move into it. Instead of choosing to recognize and see in your identity, that's like, oh, wait a minute. If the Lord is with me and I am walking in relationship with him and my heart is after his heart that says, I want the things that he wants for me and my motives are pure. And I'm not trying to talk about like, oh, make sure your motives are good, but it's like you're bearing the fruit of relationship with him.
Yeah.
You have prayer. You know what he's speaking to you. All these things. You know how to make decisions and go through the process. He's not concerned so much about the what then at that point. And in the case of David, it's like you have something in your heart that you want to do, and you just know that you want to do it unto the Lord, and you want to do it because it's a good thing and you see the benefit. Then do it because he's with you, and believe that he has given you the ability to create wealth. That's Deuteronomy 8:18. That he's given you the ability and the responsibility to do that. You don't have to wait for permission. And that's part of the creativity that he invites us into. It's like, if he puts something in your heart, that's like, oh, this would be such a great thing, God, and I would love to do that. And wouldn't it be amazing? You don't have to be like,
right.
Would you just give me the go ahead, the green light? It's like, do it.
That is really
do all that is within your heart because he is with you, you will succeed and claim his blessing and his promise over that. And that's not manifestation. That's not manipulating God. It's genuinely a heart that is creating out of an expression of relationship with God. And because you are rooted in relationship with God, it will succeed.
I think it's important to share at what point in the walk of faith this happens, because I'm in my ignorance under the impression there's a time, say you just accepted Jesus today and you have this dream that you've had your whole life that's like, man, I want to
build a house unto the Lord.
Well, I think there's maybe good things in our heart, but then there's also bad things in our heart too. But what I'm getting at is our heart will change when you accept the Lord because your will comes more in line with him. So I think if you're truly surrendered to the Lord in everything, and you know this to be true, and that's, evident throughout your life, then those desires that are put in your heart, rooted in the Lord, are kind of what we're talking about. Because there's a flip side to it where we can be deceived. Our hearts are deceitful, and sometimes we can have things that are maybe not in line with the Lord. But I think what I'm getting at is there's a filter of discernment to run it through Scripture. Hey, is this something that is in line with God's character and what God would want. Because there's a difference between, well, my heart is for, I want $1 million so I can buy all these Lamborghinis, and I'm going to, drive these Lamborghinis to the Lord. Praise the Lord for that. It's like, well, I don't know about that, but if you're looking to build something and steward it well, and your heart is truly like, I'm not feeding my flesh in this, but I want to do this unto the Lord, I think that's what we're getting at here.
Well, yeah, and I have a real example of that too, because I've done it both ways. I've built businesses trying to gratify my own flesh because I can get rich, because I can do all these things. I just want to be a millionaire, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, that thing is not bad. It's not bad to have $1 million. It's not bad to have a wealthy and successful business. God actually wants that. The thing is the heart behind it. The money will just amplify what's in your heart. The success and the great things just amplifies what's in your heart. And so if what's in your heart is greed and selfishness or mistrust, it will amplify that. And so he had to change my heart. And we're lying to ourselves. It's like, well, if I make all this money, then I can help people. Then I can just give people money. It's like, does that really help people? Or do you just think it helps people? Does it make you feel good more than helping people? Does it actually create a stumbling block for people? That's something to consider. Or what's the plan? Like, again, a wealthy Christian is much more influential for the kingdom than a poor Christian. And so I believe like that's part of his plan. When you look at the nation of Israel, especially during the time of David and Solomon, it's like they were incredibly wealthy. That's God's desire and plan for people. But it needs to be out of a heart that's rooted in submission to him, truly. And that's a hard thing, because you get down to the nitty gritty of just like, what is wisdom when it comes to money? What is stewardship? It's like, maybe not the Lamborghini, but it's like, do I buy the expensive SUV or do I buy the mid-range SUV? It's like, honestly, in my opinion, what my opinion has changed, buy the expensive one. On the surface, we think, well, spending more money, that's terrible. It's like, no, but what happens is when you buy it nice, or you buy it twice.
Yeah.
If you buy the cheap one, it's going to break. You're going to put more money into fixing it. You're going to sell it. You're going to flip it. It's like, you have to buy wisely. And that's, again, getting into the weeds of like money there. But the point is the heart behind being wise with what he's given you. And that does go into business. That goes into work and all of these things. But I think trying to kind of zoom back out for our topic for the episode is work, job. It's not a blanket statement to say, God has people in every area of life, just plain and simple. I've met some great believers in the 9-to-5s. I've met some great believers in the business world. I think it just comes down to the gifts, talents, passions, and where he has you to be able to serve and what he's told you. And ask him about that. If you can't honestly answer, what is your vision that God's given you for your life? Or what's he telling you lately? Or what's the next step in the process that he's given you towards the vision in alignment for your life? If you can't answer those, then I would challenge you to dig deeper into your relationship with God. You haven't even begun to have a relationship with God if you can't answer those. Yeah. And so, because he'll tell you, he gives you that unshakable vision and that drive and that knowledge. And so that's part of it. We look at, again, the fruit. We look at the fruit and the shortcut. I just want money. I want things. The quickest way to do that is just job. That's A to B, A to Z. It's not so simple in that way. In God's economy, it's more about the heart. Because as we've known, it's like, you can have the job, and if your heart isn't right, it will never be enough. There is never enough money in this world or things or stuff that can satisfy the drive for that.
Scripture says God put eternity in our hearts.
Yeah,
so we can never... Did we?
Yeah, Ecclesiastes 3.
Oh, that went over my head.
Are you listening?
Well, I was, yeah. I just missed that part for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But eternity's put in our hearts, so like nothing is never going to be enough. Nothing's ever going to be enough is what I'm trying to say.
There's a reason why humanity's tried to find the key to live forever. It's like,
what's the key to happiness?
The key to happiness, Jesus, genuinely. That's the point of life, too. That's spoiler alert. What's the meaning of life? Jesus, God. It's really not hard, but we try to
live as
overcomplicate
Christ.
it. And so that is the core of it, the root of it. And the problem is when you talk about job and all that, it's like there's so much we shroud in job. It's like the job is at the core of my identity, who I am, what I do. And I do that because I need money, because I need financial stability. I need all these things. Like, those are good things. You think God wants those things for you? Absolutely, he does. But the methodology, the way we go about that and who gets the credit for that is the whole different thing. And so it's like an onion. He has to peel back all these layers. That's like, like you and me. He's like, I'm going to take you out of the job. It's like, well, wait a minute. That means that's not who I am, right? That's separate from your identity. Well, wait a minute. That means I don't have the ability to make money, right? That's separate from your ability to provide. Wait a minute. That
Right.
means that, what do I do with my time? Right. That's not what you're meant to do with your time all the time. And so he has to separate all these things out, and just like you've mixed your job, your money, your purpose, your identity, your security, all into this one thing that I call my job. It's like, why is it so? It's like somebody's earth is like turned upside down when I lost my job. It's like, oh my goodness, are you okay?
Yeah.
What do you mean, am I okay?
Every time I share it,
It's separate from me.
people are like, "Oh my goodness, like I'm so sorry." It's like, no,
Or the
it's
opposite.
actually gonna.
I got
It's
a new
okay.
job. Oh my goodness, like you got to just be on cloud nine, and it's like your life is saved. It's like there's too much emphasis placed on that.
Yeah.
And as it's funny when you become a business owner, man, jobs come and go
Yeah.
multiple times a day. So it's like genuine. I got hired for this. I got fired for that. I got hired for this. It's like if I let myself be carried to and fro with that same level of excitement or identity in each individual job that I get hired for or thing that I get paid to do, I will be wrecked. So you have to keep things separated. It's like, it's just nothing but a thing, man.
Yeah.
Like, God is providing regardless of what happens. And we have to separate that, and he will tear that away from our identity that says, oof, you know what? It's not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
But it is a big deal. He cares about, like I say, the heart behind it. If he could just get through the muddied onion of like peel back the layers and get you to just understand that these things are separate. Now I can do so much more for you and through you, and for the people around you in that. And so that's where he's got me at, is the day to day is just trust him.
Yeah.
I've had seasons of plenty, I've had seasons of lack, and through it all, he's still the same God, and he shows up. And that's the point, is you try to build that spiritual muscle where you don't flinch.
Right.
Because I've had that where it's like, I've been a business owner for the last several years, it's like I've had days where I'm like, I have $8 in my account. Okay, Lord, I'm not going to freak out. And I've had days where I do freak out and it doesn't go well, because then I start acting as if I'm going to fix it. And instead I'm like, okay, God, I can't wait to see what you do. Take that approach. And that is like, oh, that's so hard to do as humans. And you think, again, from the worldly perspective, well, that's so irresponsible of you. You're just putting, like, how dare you? That is like absolutely terrible. It's like, yeah, you think I don't beat myself up? Like, I'm my own person beating myself up, thinking that every day?
Yeah.
Having kids and all that, I'm just gonna be like, oh, God's got it. Really? Your imaginary friend's gonna take care of you, blah blah blah. It's like, that's so hard.
real.
It's like, that's faith. That's literally faith. That's what that means. And that's the whole point of all of this. Like,
There's a few verses in
shows up.
scripture where God says to just stand, be still, and watch the Lord God act on your behalf. And there's been seasons of my life where it feels like I can't do anything, and he's brought me to those, and all you can do is just say, okay.
That's a psalm. I don't remember which psalm, but it talks about how the Lord even provides for the righteous. For those he loves, he provides for them while they are sleeping.
Yeah.
So it's like,
That's good.
You have to arrive to a place where you believe that, where the work in, work out, and that's what we just read in Ecclesiastes. It's like the people that just exercise and work in futility, they can't shut it off. It's like, I go to bed, I'm just worried, and unless I'm working on it, I'm drowning, and I need to be the one like paying the bills, and I need to be the one. It's like, if you grab that to shoulder it, he will let you carry that. And that's why everybody's so stressed and burnt out. God lets you carry the things that you want to carry. And he's like, that's why Jesus says, my yoke is easy, my burden is light. Let's trade. He's like, I'm not going to force you to give it to me, but if it's too heavy for you, just give it to me. Yeah. And we think, but I can't do that. It's my responsibility. And it takes that sacrifice to say, you know what, Jesus, I have to just give this to you. And he's broken me of that through so many different seasons, because I've tried it every which way from Sunday to do it myself.
Yeah.
To the point where I'm like, you know what, Jesus, I have to go out by faith and just say, I cannot do this. I have to give it to you, and allow him to just take that. It's like, please give me your yoke, your light burden. Give me your freedom and just peace and I'm just going to surrender this to you. I'm going to stop trying to fix it. And so, yeah, when it comes down to like, I got $8 in my account, my old self is, what can I sell? What can I do? I got to start just hustling. I got to get work drummed up. And it's again where he'll let you feel that. He'll let you do it. And that's never enough. I get a little ahead and I'm right back down again. I get a little ahead and I'm right back down again. But it's like to the point where I finally got where I'm just like, you know what, Jesus? I trust you. I know your heart for me. I know you know what's best for me. If you allow me to not have this, I'm still okay.
Yeah.
If my account hits 0, I'm still okay. What am I afraid of? I still have you. I still have all. And that is like, oh, that's so hard. But I've been there more than once where I'm stressing because I got $10 in my account. And then something happens or gets taken out and we hit 0 and I'm stressed. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm still breathing. I'm still alive. Nothing really changed. It's just, it's not like it's in your head. It's like, those are real things.
Yeah.
But you recognize like, I'm still okay. He's still got me. And you surrender that to him and you give it to him. And it's like, the times when I've done that, it's just a test. He's like, okay, then I'll bless you.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can't explain it. It's like, if we're faithful with little, we'll be faithful with much. But when we try to hold on to it and drive it the way we think it should go, he lets us. And that's why it doesn't go so good for most people, is he lets us. And the hard thing is, I think the hard thing is when you're in the in-between. You know, what if you're somebody that's like, hey, you know what? I have the job. I have the career. I'm responsible with my money. I have the savings. I have the retirement. I have the home. Everything's paid for. I have no debt. I'm doing pretty good. I think that's an even more dangerous place to be, honestly, spiritually. And I'm not saying somebody should be poor to get to know Jesus, but the problem is it's so far removed from Jesus that I would say if you don't even feel him prompting at you to get to know him, I'd be scared in that. Like that would be concerning to me, because all of a sudden, who is God in your life? Yourself.
An advisor.
You rely on yourself.
Point.
There is no God in your life. There is no God outside of yourself. I have worked. I have provided. I have set this up. I am wise in my own eyes. And when there is no room across your proverbial landscape, it's like, look at everything I've done and look at how good I am. And I'm pretty darn good. And you don't even feel God trying to knock in at you. It's like, ooh,
that's scary.
That is scary.
Scarier than having no money.
And he is. If we're honest with ourselves, there's always an area where he's like trying to like, hello, knock in at. And we have the responsibility to let him in or not. And yeah, it's hard, but it's freedom. It's like genuinely, I don't know. I've experienced freedom in that. And I never thought I would, being quote unquote jobless. I've never been so busy, but so on fire, and had so much just income,
abundant life.
Yeah, like abundance doesn't mean millionaire. Abundance doesn't mean a lot of money. Abundance means, like, Jesus gives us the abundant life, the Zoe life, Zoe in Greek. That's abundance of time, abundance of energy, of love. It's the joy of the Lord. It's abundance of money. It's abundance of all of these things. It doesn't mean like, oh, I have a bank account full of money. Again, when we chase the fruit and ignore the root, we miss the point. You can go to the store and buy apples every day, or you can plant apple trees and see so many more apples.
But that takes time.
It does take time. It takes energy. It takes
patience. Faith that this seed is going to grow.
Yes, it is not an overnight process. Like it is. I'm still very much in the process, and like I am. What is it? It's 2026 at the time of recording this. I'm going to be turning 29 here in about a month or two. Entering my 30th year, according to Jewish teachings, which is significant. And it has taken me almost, 10 years in the workforce. I started working when I was, like, how old am I? 20. Okay, no, like, I started working when I was like 15, 16. So it's been like 12 years in the workforce, something like that. Just various capacities, and 3-4 years of full-time business ownership in some capacity or another. It's taken me a while to get to this point. Not that I've arrived, but it's like finally he's shaken off enough of the layers of the onion to allow me to just, okay, oh no, now we're talking. Now you're walking in stride with me. Now we've undone all the old. Let's start building in the new. Because that's the thing. That's the scary thing. I think deep down, it's like we recognize, and I'm sorry if I'm talking a lot, but
no, I think you have a lot more to share.
My brain is going that he will remove the things that we have built out of a heart that has been incorrectly postured towards him. if we build something out of a spirit of idolatry or out of a spirit of self-worship, he has a tendency to tear those things down. They're idols, right? And that's what the Israelites had to do throughout, like the book of First Kings, Second Kings, is the nation started worshiping other gods. Hey, you know what? God's pretty great, but let's do all these other things. We can do all these other things and still serve God. I can still believe in Jesus and serve myself and still, feel good about how I serve my money and feel good about my career and take some pride in that, right? That's the same thing that the Israelites did. Oh, I didn't say I didn't believe in Jesus anymore. I'm just trying to like add these other things in there too. That's what they did. That's why that was the grave sin. It's not like they like threw away God and said we're going to replace him. Sometimes they did, but it was like a substitution where they're like God and this, God and that. They put things at the same pedestal. They idolized things. That was the big thing. And so what they had to do is when the good kings would come in, they would tear down the idols. You'd have to come in and say, no, like God is still there. Jesus is still there. Everything else that you've added in and tried to elevate to the same position has to go. They would tear it down. They would burn it. They would get rid of it. The only thing in that place that deserves that place, that center of attention and obsession in your life is Jesus. Everything else that centers around like your identity and all of that has to go. And that's what he does. He cleans house. And so he's done that for me. It's like businesses I've built, jobs I've had, homes that I've had where I'm just like, hey, you know what? I believe in Jesus, but this also makes me feel pretty good about myself. I believe in Jesus, but also I really like to talk about this with other people because it just that just gives me my joy. I find my joy of that in that, Jesus is there too, but I really find my joy in my career and all that. It's like, he removes those things. He has to tear down those idols in your life. And that's the hard part. It's like deep down we know that's like, God, if I give you my life, you're going to just take everything away. It's like, yep.
Our jobs have become our gods in our culture. And I want to contrast this to Eastern Asian culture, particularly India, where there are millions of Hindu gods in that religion. And these are little g gods. I want to stress that.
They are Elohim.
That's a whole other
That's a whole other topic.
podcast,
Not
but-
Elohim as in Yahweh. It's a title, not a name.
Right.
But they are real.
But it's so normal in their culture to just casually discuss, oh, so which gods do you worship? Which gods do you believe in? Oh, I believe in this God, this God, this God. Excuse me. What's normal in our culture? What do you do for work? What's your job? What's your title? What's your status? Because subconsciously in our minds, that places us somewhere in this hierarchy of value where there's a difference in response. And I've witnessed this personally on both sides because I've been both of these things where if you tell somebody I'm a janitor or if you tell somebody I'm an aircraft mechanic or an electrician, it evokes a different response in somebody. If you say you're a janitor, it's like, oh, cool, good for you. If you're, something that's mildly interesting to somebody like being an aircraft mechanic, they're like, wow, how did you get into that? They start asking questions and it adds a little bit of pride, unhealthy pride to you as an individual to say, wow, I must get some extra worth from this. Like this makes me better than if I were a janitor. God says, no, regardless of what you do, you're a son or a daughter of mine. And that should be the only thing we get our value from.
Yeah. So when you have to introduce yourself to somebody, what do you do for work? Oh, I don't.
Yeah. That'll evoke a response. Oh,
I own a business. So I run a YouTube channel, which is actually what I do right now.
Mm-hmm.
That is such a identity hit where you have to separate that identity. And it's like,
It's
that
hard.
person is going to take it and they're going to judge. And that's between them and the Lord. But you have to remain blameless about the way you answer that and the way your identity is tied to your answer.
Yeah.
Because what is somebody really asking? To your point, when you're asked that, what do you do for work? What are they asking? Are they asking, how do you fill your time? What are your talents? How much money do you have? How do you make money? It's a good question.
Yeah.
But the way they respond and the way your brain attaches to like the response, the way their brain attaches to the response tells you so much about the posture of the heart of somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And similarly, you know and you learn so much about people when you don't necessarily phrase it like, oh, I'm jobless or whatever, but it's like, what's a responsible way to phrase it in a way that is understandable in today's culture? It's like, what do you do for work? Well, I run a business running a YouTube channel. That's a true statement, but that's
Right.
detached from my identity. And so when people like genuinely people hear that and they're curious, like, oh man, what's that all about? Tell me about that. And so I think there's not as much there. Like I have fallen into the trap like you did before about like, well, I'm an IT technician. Okay, cool. It's like, oh, I passed the test. I'm something that's cool
That
enough.
I am statement is
Yeah.
so powerful, and we don't even realize we throw it around all the time.
Well, and I've been careful about that too. It's not that I am a business owner. It's I run a business.
Yeah.
I run a YouTube channel.
Phrasing is important because
I
it
do
reflects
that.
the heart posture.
I am not my business. I am not my job. I am not an engineer. I am not a mechanic. I am one who works on cars.
Yeah.
You know, how, if you're asking me what my job is, if you're asking me how I provide a living and provide value in this world, this is how I do that, but it is not who I am. And that's a big distinction. When you start to understand that and unravel that, and more so importantly, just give that to the Lord. It's like he takes that and runs with it.
Yeah.
And you know, we've both been in seasons of joblessness in different eras, and it's always an invitation into something greater if we would just see it for what it is.
Yeah.
You know, and I've seen that. It's like I've done it both ways. I've lost jobs where I'm just like, I feel him calling me into something like business ownership or just stepping into the unknown to trust him in this. And I get scared. I'm just going to take the job that I know that I'm just going to play it safe. And it's like a few years later, he brings me right back to the same place again. How about now? Are you ready to trust me now? No, I'm going to get scared. I'm just going to take the job.
Right.
It's like, and I've learned after a few times of going through that, it's like, nope, I'm just going to trust him. And the fruit of that has been so great.
That's what it's rooted in, is in fear. And I'm in a similar season where we have no lack. We have no need of anything. It's just my pride and the societal pressures telling me, go get a new identity, go get a career, become an apprentice of some sort. And the moments that I feel most tempted to do that are the moments when I'm furthest from the Lord. And I want to stress that I'm furthest from the Lord, not he's furthest from me, because I'm out of routine.
When you have
or
turned your
discipline.
attention away from him.
Right. And it's rooted in fear of, oh my word, what am I doing? You know, I've been having this recently as I'm pressing more into where I feel led. It's like I'm sitting here like, what am I doing with my life? And I feel afraid and like this anxiety, like I need to go apply to every job right now and get something. But it's like, wait, take it back to the fundamentals. What do I need in this moment right now that I don't have? Nothing. Like,
Yeah. So do you trust him for tomorrow?
Exactly.
And that's been my prayer, is like, you know what, Lord, if I find myself stressing and worried, it's because I'm worried about tomorrow. And don't worry about tomorrow. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble. So it's like, okay, if I look at today, what do I have on the calendar today that I can know and see? I got to make food. I have food. I got to get in the car and go somewhere. I have gas. I can pay for gas. I can make it to bedtime and sleep and wake up tomorrow, and I have everything I need. Okay. Lord, I don't know about tomorrow, but I trust you with that. He takes you down to that point, and I have been at that point day after day after day after day after day. And it's like, that's being faithful with little, and that is trusting him. And that's like, okay, that's the manna that we're talking about. And now I'm going to build you out of that.
And it's a good thing to provide for your family. That is a good thing.
Oh yeah,
we don't mishear us.
As men, like we have to. That's part of that. But the trap is not doing it the way the world says, the way the enemy would have us believe.
Right.
Do we do it out of our own hearts, our own ambition, or do we do it out of the way that God has designed us to do it?
There's a second part to that I'm learning through other people and through my own experiences, is like, that's a good thing unless God is showing you, like, unless God doesn't have you in that season right now and is showing you something else that he's leading you towards. And I don't want you to mishear us and hear that we are saying this is an excuse for just being lazy and sitting on your butt all day, because I can speak for myself and probably for you too. We don't just sit around all day. We're building something that we feel the Lord's put in our hearts to.
I mean, I sit around all day because I work on the computer. But.
Well, me too. Literally, sure. Yeah. But like, I'm pulling just as many, if not more hours than most people in a job, just doing this thing that the Lord has put in my heart to build.
Having ambition.
Right. But it's different in that it's a lot of work. I'm tired. My eyes are bugging out of my head. But it's like, it's such an abundant life of like, man, this is not, I don't think twice about it. You know, it just comes pretty naturally.
And it's building, and you have to let go of the guilt and the shame. And that's like for me, because I'm in the same boat where it's like the whole 8 to 5, 8-hour work day, that was developed by Henry Ford with
very new
the Industrial Revolution. It's actually very new. Yes. Yeah. And so I have had to untrain myself that way. And I've just trained myself like, you know what, if I work 4 hours a day really hard, is that not better than 8 hours a day half working,
It's the
it's
same.
the same.
Girl
And
math.
yeah, it's girl math. But that's how most people would be. That's how I was working a 9 to 5. And again, being homeschooled, it's like I was taught, like I have energy and momentum in the mornings. It's like I use my mornings. That's my creative flow, my creative output, and I just like hammer it out and I will get it done. And so by about lunchtime, I'm like, okay, I'm a little tired. Maybe I'll get a few more things done, but that's about it. And working 9 to 5, a lot of people are that way. A lot of people work real hard in the mornings, and in the afternoon they kind of just like, I'm gonna take
That's
4 hours
the
to
natural
get
bend.
30 minutes of stuff done. Right, that's just the natural rhythm. And so it's like it didn't make any sense to pay people to sit around to get half work done. It's like I would rather just give people half days, half work days, or like that. That's what makes sense to me. And I would get so frustrated. I would tell them like I'm literally just sitting here watching YouTube. Can I go home? No, you have to sit there. Okay, what am I supposed to do? Well, we don't have anything for you. Okay.
But society says you have to hit
But
this
you
40
have to.
hours a week.
I'm just like, why? Because insurance says that? Because of this? I'm like, I am enslaved to my time. I can't go home and see my kids because your insurance company's you're gonna lose money on your insurance policy because I'm not working for it. It's like, no, I'm out. And so like that's what I do now is like I'll work hard, and sometimes I do work all day. And I just follow those natural momentums. Like if I have the workflow and the energy, I will push through to that. But other times it's like, you know what? It's a nice day. I worked hard this morning. I don't have anything left. It's like I'm working on stuff for tomorrow and into next week. It's like I'm gonna have lunch with the kids and then I'll just be done. Let's just go to the park. Let's just go play.
Yeah.
And that has been such an attack on like oh, I can't do that. I'm not allowed to do that.
Because then people look at you like, shouldn't you be at work?
Yes. Oh my God. What are
Yeah.
you doing? Oh, you should. And the kids.
You know what's
in school?
interesting? We got that
no.
growing up as kids.
Yeah.
We were homeschooled.
Yeah.
The amount of times we would go to the store with our parents, I think this is a wild thing that people would say, but like they would look at us with our parents and be like, shouldn't they be in school? And I remember Dad always getting so frustrated about it. Like, what? Who are you to even ask that? Like,
It's kind of bold.
it's very bold. Like
But
him and I
can
were
see
at
the
Menards or something, and somebody stopped us. Shouldn't he be in school? He's like, "Are you serious? Right
What
now?"
are you, the school police?
Yeah.
But genuinely, it's like there is a lot to that, and you can see where the heart is on one hand because there are a lot of like unschoolers or people that don't send their kids to school,
Yeah.
and will not educate them at all. That gives homeschoolers and
Going to the hardware
a
store
bad rap.
with Dad is a better education than you get.
What, are you gonna call the police because I'm homeschooling my kid? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Shouldn't you be at work? What are you doing at the store?
Since I don't want to say the word because YouTube will tag it. Since the virus in 2020.
So what if they tag it?
Well,
It's not a
they
bad
always like add weird stuff to it. But
Okay. 2020.
since
That's,
2020, it's not so weird to be homeschooled anymore. And I remember that shift because I was in high school, towards the end of high school. But there was a time before when it was like, oh, you do online school or you're homeschooled? That's weird. And then after, everybody got used to it. And they're like, this is just a normal thing now. And I think not most, but a lot of people switched to homeschooling after that because they started recognizing the value of it. And
Well,
so that was an interesting
like I
shift.
say, like for us, it changed the way that I view work. It changed the way I view productivity, output, management, stewardship, all
Yeah.
of that, where the way of the world is just so countercultural to me, where my bent is just not that way at all. And I'm fine with that. And the Lord, instead of fighting it, I went through a season of fighting it and just, I'm going to ignore that and just do what the world tells me to do. And I was dead.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went through a season of, well, now I'll just follow my bent, but I'm going to shoulder it and do it myself. And I was burnt out. And now I'm in the season where I'm going to follow my bent, but surrender to Jesus, the results, and surrender to him and let him tell me how to do it.
Yeah.
And it's been just abundance and freedom.
I think that following those natural bends that I believe God has woven into us as beings, that going 100% 8 hours a day is just not sustainable. Nobody can do that. Like you have a few hours in the morning that you're at your best and you're most productive, and then it kind of fizzles out from there. I think if we followed that bend, like you were talking about, you can do just as much, if not more, in a 4-hour work day than you could in an 8-hour work day, feeling like I just have to be here for X amount of time.
It's math. Let's say you can get 75% of your work done in the morning, and your afternoon is 25% of the output. And you're spending 50-50 budget to pay somebody to sit there, 50-50 time budget across the whole day. It's better to get 75% done with 50% effort than it is to get 100% 100% done with 100% effort. That's a better return. And so week after week, it's like, yeah, maybe your productivity isn't the same, but it's more sustainable and it creates a life. And so I actually got this from a friend of mine that you know, and talking about there's a gap between where you find your rest, your mode of rest. Think of it like, I don't know, like a Saturday or like an afternoon or an evening. People would call it work-life balance. I have to shift into this mode to work super hard, and I have to shift into this mode to rest super hard. And it's not sustainable long-term to shift into work mode super hard and push and grind and then stop, and then push and grind and then stop. It's like you need extreme rest because you have extreme work.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying extreme work is bad necessarily, but we need to shorten the gap between those things where you rest close to the level at which you perform. Meaning you're not exhausting yourself every day, but it's like you're not also having to just come back down off the mountain just to go rest at the same time. Trying to find the place where those things are similar, where it's like I perform out of my rest. I perform not out of a place that's separate from my rest. I perform out of a place that says, I don't have need. I trust the one who holds it all. I perform to build, to add, to grow out of a place of abundance, out of a place of peace and rest. And it's just easy. It's just easy for me to give. It's easy for me to work. It's easy for me to just flow. And I'm not talking about habits that are built up over time. I'm talking about genuine heart posture that says it is easy for me to just want to do this.
Yeah.
And when I stop, it's easy for me to just want to rest. And vice versa. Versus like, oh man, I got to get up and go to work today and get shifted into work mode. It's different.
I think the thing God is teaching me in this season is that want to rest. And that's something I'm really struggling with because I feel like I have this vision and it's like, man, I just want to go all in on it all the time. But that can be destructive too if you don't have these disciplines of like coming back to the fundamentals that I have everything I need and I just need to rest sometimes or I'm going to do more damage to myself than it's worth. And
Pacing yourself.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things God's teaching me right now is like, you need to, he's like, I love your heart posture, but you got to like chill out a little bit sometimes.
What is being communicated if you think you have to sprint it every time?
Right. Then it's all up to me.
What is being communicated if you think you can't leave something undone for tomorrow?
Yeah. Exactly.
Mistrust. Genuinely, it's at the heart of it. And so pacing, cadence, that all matters.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of maybe a good place to end this episode. I think we've been going for like an hour.
I think so.
On this one.
Yeah.
But work. It's not as simple as black and white. There's a way to do it that the Lord would have us do it. And it looks different for every person.
Yeah. And unless you're a business owner, you're not doing too good. I'm kidding.
No, that's not it. That's not it at all.
Yeah.
Walking with Jesus is the way, and he will show you what's right for you in your life. And the key is to trust him. It's a hard thing to do. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.